So,
Okay.
she has a situation here. She says, "Hi, Amy and John. My husband and I are divorcing, and the biggest fight is over the house. We still have a mortgage, a HELOC, and a few major repairs the home needs. He says I can keep it if I buy him out, but I've only been working part time and I'm not sure I could even qualify for the loan on my own. I want to keep things stable for the kids, but I'm terrified of ending up house rich and cash poor. How can someone know when fighting for the house makes sense and when it could become a financial trap?" I mean, is that something you kind of look at with them when you
Yeah.
crunch the numbers, right?
Yes. Yes. And so then the first thing I'll ask is, how long do you need to keep the house, or how long do you want to keep the house? Because and this is, it depends on the relationship with the departed spouse. It's
True.
no two divorces are the same. I've had situations where the husband wanted cash, and he actually co-signed the mortgage just to get the cash, and in the agreement that they were going to sell the house in like 4 years, and his settlement payments were based on now the new mortgage payment and what have you. So I really, to answer that, you need to like run the numbers, and if the numbers don't work, um, and this is where I always like to have both spouses on the call at the same time, the Zoom at the same time, to say these are the options. If you want, what the partner spouse, what do you want? He'll say what he wants. She's going to say, well, it's important for me to retain the house for like 4 or 5 years for these following reasons, and then we just try to come up with a plan. I give them options. They decide which plan they like, if at all. And then if no one agrees, unfortunately, the judge decides.
Have you seen the judges make crazy decisions when it comes to the house? What have you seen?
Yes,
Because in sometimes they can force you to sell it, right? What have you seen?
I. It was a first. I saw husband and wife. They were both surgeons, and they wanted to keep. Both of them wanted to keep the house, and they were just there was stalemate. So the judge said, and they both made about the same amount of money. And the judge just said, "All right, here's the deal. Both of you, we're gonna do a silent auction, sealed bid. Whoever bids the highest gets the house."
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was like my client, he got the high, he really wanted it because it was a premarital asset, and he wanted to retain it. So he bid it way above and beyond what it was really appraising for, but
Yeah,
he had the extra money. So yeah, that was the first for me about having a sealed bid auction on your own place.
that's
You keep
crazy.
it.
Um, you
Yeah.
know, Back to this listener letter, John, how does a HELOC complicate things when you're dividing a house in divorce?
Well, a HELOC, it's a mortgage, is really what it is, and so you take that into consideration as to when you're dividing the house. So, I mean, so it's the question is there anything on the HELOC? Is it just sitting there, or is there enough available credit where you can maybe draw against it and maybe give a partial buyout and maybe wait 4 years. I see that a lot where they'll delay, the payout, for the situation of the kids to maybe graduate high school, and then they say, okay, now we're going to sell the house, and then they'll usually agree upon a price based on today's market, and they'll say, most of the time they'll say, no matter what happens, if the house increases in values or drop in value, this is the number at this point in time, and we won't ask for more if the value of the house happens to go up. It's really just sitting down and just seeing what the whole situation is, and what's feasible, what they want. I mean, I had a situation where, the wife wanted to stay in the townhouse, and selling the townhouse and buying something else would have been like the worst thing, because there was no they were in a starter home, so there was no downsizing anyways, and it wasn't going to improve anyone's situation. And I just said this, you shouldn't like do nothing, and because there was no gain to sell the house. The husband wasn't going to really get anything. So it's like, that because you're going through a divorce doesn't mean you have to sell the house. It's like you got to take a step back and see what's for the greater good of the whole family unit.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You don't sell just to sell.
Yeah, and I
Because
think
then no, because then what's the game plan after that?